حماس غير مكترثين بقرارات الكابينة الإسرائيلي.
אני רק רוצה שאת תהיי הקלה. כל כך רציתי להיות הקלה שלך, הדר.
הבטחנו שנחזיר את השקט לתושבי ישראל, ואנחנו נמשיך לפעול עד שמטרה זו תושג.
أكبر مجزرة صارت امبارح في رفح، وعزلوا رفح عن كل غزة.
Welcome back to the special edition of the news. Today, I'm Lucia Arish, and we are continuing our extended coverage of Operation Protective Edge. And right now, joining me in the studio are Mudar Zahran, writer and political activist. Good evening. Thank you very much for coming to our studio. And also, Mr. Dimitri Diliani, a member of the Fatah Revolutionary Council. Good evening. Thank you very much for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
Gentlemen, we're starting to see the results of this operation concerning the people in the Gaza Strip. And we're starting to see the world pointing fingers towards Israel and towards Hamas as well. And we're starting to see the Palestinian people also pointing fingers towards Israel and towards Hamas as well. At the end, the bottom line, maybe we can say that Hamas lost this battle.
It's not a battle against Hamas. It's a war against the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people stood their ground. Actually, we got nowhere to go in Gaza, but people did not give up, did not, despite the massacres that were committed against our people, against the civilians. Our people held their ground. Our people did not give up, and I think that's a victory for the Palestinian people. Israel has lost morally, most definitely. It is now much clearer that it is labeled, and it's strengthening the label that Israel is a war criminal state, and hopefully in the near future we'll see some legal action taking place, whether it was ICC or other even domestic courts in European countries and stuff.
You're saying that the people didn't give up, the people didn't give up, the people continue fighting, or Hamas continue fighting in the name of people, of the people who are living in Gaza?
No. There was, you cannot equate, there was no fighting, there were massacres. These flying pipes, they don't constitute, they do not constitute what it takes for such a reaction. So it is minimal. But who stood there? The people. They did not give up. They supported the resistance. And it wasn't only Hamas resisting. Most of the Palestinian factions had part in this. It's a duty, it's a national duty to defend as much as possible. And they scored a victory on the moral ground. If you look at the Palestinian victims, the dead, 75% of the Palestinian dead are civilians. On the other hand, 98% of the Israeli killed were soldiers. So even in fighting, we hold much higher moral ground.
You don't agree?
I absolutely don't. I think the Palestinian people lost. I don't care who won, be it Israel, the Hamas, or whatever. My people, my flesh and blood, lost in this war. The gentleman sitting in here, and I and you, we have our children back at home, tucked in and safe and fully fed. Neither one of us would be saying this if one of our children was dead in that war. The Palestinian people lost. Why? Because of the irresponsibility of Hamas. Now, is Israel an angel? Israel, as a Palestinian, do I think Israel is innocent and beautiful and charming and dandy sweet? No. But I know in this war, Hamas was provoking Israel all the time. Hamas wanted the war. And it's deeper than that. Has nothing to do with Gaza, nothing to do with the Palestinian cause. We are fighting other people's war. This war, Qatar and Jordan, the king of Jordan, which very few people in Israel realize that Jordan's king is involved in this. Qatar, king of Jordan, Muslim Brotherhood, whose headquarters are in Jordan and controlled by the Jordanian intelligence, along with Iran and Syria. There's a new camp. Jordan, Qatar, Iran, Syria, and the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas. They wanted to teach Egypt, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Israel a lesson. So we're fighting someone else's war. This has nothing to do with Gaza. People of Gaza, I'm in touch with them 24/7, And those people have had enough with Hamas. Most of them speak to me. There's a Washington Institute study. No normal human being would want Israeli rockets landing in the head because Mr. Khalid Mish'al, the leader of Hamas, is sitting in Qatar, driving armored vehicles, living the high life, while my people are getting butchered in Gaza. One good thing came out of this war. For the first time, I am very pleased by the performance of the Palestinian Authority. Thank God they were able not to drag themselves into this. The West Bank is quiet and safe, and we have had around 45 people killed because they protested against the Israeli soldiers, but thank God they kept things under control. What's happening is an open, in-the-air treason by Hamas to my people. Hamas, if they really want to fight the fight and fight the jihad and kill the evil Jewish bastards, okay, Mr. Mash'al, you and your top 3 of Hamas move back to Gaza.
Maybe they should move back to Gaza. Maybe they should not talk from Qatar and from their armed vehicle and start fighting the fight.
Well, I agree with some stuff and disagree with a lot. I don't know how did the King of Jordan come into this?
The King of Jordan, the King of Jordan controls the Muslim Brotherhood.
No,
the King of Jordan is in bed with the Muslim Brotherhood of Jordan. Allow me just to make this clear. And the Muslim Brotherhood of Jordan controls Hamas. Why did the King of Jordan want this war?
Okay.
Because it makes sure that the Palestinian majority in Jordan.
It's my turn to speak now, please.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, this has nothing to do with the King of Jordan. I don't know what you got with the Jordanian government, but there is nothing.
My people bleeding in Gaza, so Jordan's king can make whiskey.
Stop selling your people's blood so you can do something to Jordan. Say something bad about Jordan. You want to score?
Why are you so in love with Jordan?
I'm not in love with anybody but the Palestinian people. But why are you bringing the King of Jordan and Jordan into this? There is nothing that warrants such an accusation.
So let's isolate.
Let me move back before I interrupted twice.
So let's isolate it back to Hamas. Let's isolate it back to Hamas. Let's put Hamas on the table again. Maybe Hamas, not maybe. Maybe they lost. Maybe they are. What we're talking from the beginning. They are not fighting the fight with their people. They are actually fighting against the people in the Gaza Strip.
Look, I am not going to defend Hamas, and I always been against these flying pipes. I said that so many times.
You cannot say that these are flying pipes. You've been saying that for a long time. You cannot. They're killing people. These flying pipes, these mortar shells are killing people.
How many people?
Without the Iron Dome, a lot. A lot.
So
a lot.
Okay. So it's okay for Israel to bomb with F-16s and kill families. You know, in the past 24 hours, you know that 10 people, they've been targeting homes and families. Al-Khayyat family, 4 people. Al-Hul family, 10 people. Aukal family, 4 people. They are targeting homes. They are targeting UN shelters.
What did you expect? Really, Mr. Diliani, we're having this conversation all over again. Yeah. What did you expect when these flying pipes, like you're saying, are coming to Israel? What did you think? That Israel will retaliate with flowers?
Well, there's a difference in retaliation. That's one. 2, Israel is still occupying Gaza. Let me finish. Well, what's going on? Let me finish.
In which way?
Israel is still occupying Gaza, put it under siege. They have the security belt. That's occupation. So as long as there's occupation, there is a right to resist, and the occupier does not have any right to conduct massacres. Plus, Israel has a choice with peace. Israel does not want peace. If Israel chose peace, none of this would happen. The blood is on Israeli government's hands. No way or shape or form you can put the blame on anybody else. Maybe somebody else might have played into it, not being wise enough, not having internal agendas, yes, but you cannot blame a victim at any point. You cannot.
Well, I mean, I can agree with him, with the gentleman here in one thing. I think Israel definitely needs to revise its strategy in Gaza. To find an exit strategy, to involve the Egyptians would be a very important thing. To reinstall the Palestinian Authority with the help of the Egyptians, into Gaza. Let's not forget that Hamas toppled the Palestinian Authority out of Gaza and butchered Palestinian. Allow me to quote what a Palestinian doctor told me from Gaza over the phone, that, quote unquote, I can never forget that Hamas killed our own people from Fatah and PLO in Gaza. Nonetheless, that does not give Israel the right to go bomb schools or anywhere else. Nonetheless, we need to set the record straight here. We are fighting someone else's fight. This is very dangerous. In Operation Castlet, it was our fight. We, the Palestinians, were fighting the Israelis. Now, we are fighting on behalf of foreign countries that want to make a point against Egypt and against so and so and so. And yes, the King of Jordan is completely involved and orchestrated and accomplice to this, and there's mountain evidence to that. If for one, I'm not going to elaborate on that too much, he controls the Muslim Brotherhood of Jordan. They are under Jordanian's intelligence power. They openly are his allies. They say it in the open on television. And those people control Hamas. Khalid Mish'al, they fall under them. And those people wanted this war, wanted this war, so they can simply teach Egypt and Israel a lesson, and Qatar comes back with its money and say, we are significant. You see, Qatar, a no state, an oil sheikhdom, is now negotiating on my people's blood behalf in Egypt and Paris and elsewhere. Since when the Qataris, which we taught them, we even brought schools to them, we the Palestinians, are now negotiating on my dead children in Gaza?
Should they negotiate?
Who was Qatar? For Allah's sake, for Hashem's sake, who is Qatar?
Absolutely nobody should negotiate, but the Palestinian leadership, which now the delegation includes Hamas and Islamic Jihad members, and they're in Egypt right now. Nobody should. And we were the PLO has boycotted the French meeting because it was basically Turkey, Qatar playing part of the game.
Exactly.
That he's saying. I'm not going to sit here and disagree on many of the issues that you brought up. And I believe that Hamas at one point, when Mohamed Morsi was the president of Egypt, had a plan to separate Gaza, which also played in the hands of Netanyahu on the right wing in Israel, separate Gaza and have this little state over there and forget and have access to Jerusalem to pray, and that's it. That's the national cause for them. And documents were brought up and exposed this. But at this moment, I cannot blame Hamas for many reasons.
Why? Why, Mr. Diliani? Why? Why? When you're seeing people are being killed each and every day in the Gaza Strip, how come?
I blame the killer.
How come?
Because if he blames Hamas, they're going to call him a traitor. I
Nobody's
don't
gonna
mind.
call
Call
me
me
a
anything
traitor.
you want. Hamas is a traitor. Hamas killed my people. Hamas is playing Russian roulette with my people's blood in Gaza. If you care for my children, don't let them get exposed to Israeli F-16s. If you call Israel an enemy, okay, you can't blame an enemy for killing you. You can blame your brothers when they... All I'm saying is one thing. Khalid Mish'al and his family are in Qatar enjoying the life. And my people don't have water, don't have food, don't have education.
I agree.
My people are being held hostage by Hamas. This is the first time in history 1.5 million people on earth are being held by a terrorist organization. For how long are we going to fool ourselves? We have been fighting everyone else's fight. We fought everyone else's fight in Lebanon. We fought everyone else's fight in Intifada, first Intifada, second Intifada. Palestine was never the issue. It's about to stop. Those talking about jihad, fighting the Israelis and killing the evil Jews and sending them back to the sea so they can be eaten, let them join the fight in Gaza. If you can't join Gaza, everyone, even journalists, even politicians, $2,000 and the Bedouins will smuggle you through the tunnel and you can go and fight the evil Jewish bastards. If that's what you want, don't ask my children, our people in Gaza, to die so Mr. Khalid Mish'al can negotiate with Qatar's Emir. This is a treason.
Look, Hamas tried.
Maybe it's about time that the Palestinian Authority and the Fatah that was hit by Hamas, they know how cruel Hamas can be. Maybe it's about time that Fatah will say, stop it. We are dealing now with you and not anyone else.
Hamas is undermining Abbas.
Of course.
They're undermining Abbas. They're undermining the Palestinian Authority.
This does not happen. Look, if you scream, I'll scream louder. She knows that I can't scream.
Go ahead.
Okay? Now, what I'm saying is we don't settle score while under attack. This is not wise. Will there be score settled? Yes, there will be. Some people are going to be held for their irresponsibilities accountable. There will be accountability. But I cannot deviate from one focus, which is to have ceasefire, save the blood, not to open any room for any internal feud that would affect our quest to get the ceasefire. The gentleman can say whatever he wants here. I'm a member of Revolution Council, okay? Anything I say my movement is held accountable. So what I need to say is there will be scores settled, and there is no room right now for any of that, so we won't have any internal feud. Now, in terms of what Hamas is trying to do, Hamas is trying to score political points. This is the mentality of the Muslim Brotherhood. Has been, is, and always will be. I know that, you know that, okay? But when it comes to Israel, and the crimes that Israel is committing, I will stand on the side of Hamas against Israel any given day.
How come? How can you defend
Time
them?
of
How
war.
come?
Time
Explain.
of war. My people are dying. I'm not gonna open.
Because your
I'm not
people
gonna
are
open
dying.
internal
But
battles.
because your people are dying, because your people are living under siege, because the people are basically losing members and members of family each and every day, because they don't have education, because they don't have any way to fight even against Hamas. How come you are not fighting for them?
I am. Who said? How do you know what I do? I'm not on the
But
battlefield.
you're sitting here and you're defending them. You're defending a terror organization.
Well, first of all, it's not a terror organization.
It's not a terror organization?
It's not.
How do you
Hamas is
see
a
them?
It's a
How
resistance.
do you see them? They right now
Hamas
the political
does not break international law by using violence to liberate their land. And that is according to international law. You cannot call them terrorists.
They're saying-
A terrorist
sending-
is the state of Israel.
they're sending
Terrorists kill kids like the state of Israel is doing.
But they're sending
bombing
flying
civilians.
pipes. They're sending flying pipes to Israel in
And
order to
what's the
kill
effect?
innocent civilians.
Actually, if you review Hamas's response to the Goldstone report, they say, text says that they throw these pipes that you call rockets on empty areas for internal political gain only, and not to hurt Israelis. And if you look, where they land,
Mr. Diliani,
if you look, where,
Mr.
no, I'm not
Diliani.
talking about time of war. I'm talking about before. And if you see where they land, it is like that. Hamas needs something to sell its agenda. It needs something to say
you
the
think that if
PLO is
Iron
a
Dome-
failure,
do you think-
and Netanyahu has been giving
Do
him
you
a
think that
helping
if Iron
hand all
Dome
along.
won't work one day, okay? One day. Let's just think that Iron Dome won't work for one day.
Yeah.
And these flying pipes will land in Israeli houses and will kill people. Do you really think that Gaza won't be wiped out in 1 second? In 1 second?
Bloodthirsty, trigger-happy Israeli government would do anything. They have proven to be
How
war
come? But this
criminals.
government is actually has the responsibility to protect its civilians, like in a way that you're saying the Hamas has the responsibility to protect the Palestinians.
It's not the responsibility of Hamas alone. All factions are in this. Israel is pointing everything at Hamas. And Islamic Jihad, Fatah, and others. They're all participating
But
in
Hamas
this.
is governing the Gaza Strip.
De facto.
If we want to discuss if Hamas is a terrorist organization, as someone who's myself supportive of Abbas as a moderate leader, as someone at least who doesn't support terrorism against civilians and terrorizing my people, I know that what Hamas did to my people in Gaza when they toppled Fatah was pure terrorism. If attacking Israel is not terrorism, okay. Even if that's not terrorism, attacking Israeli civilians and throwing stupid rockets that only terrorize people, kill a few, and bring millions of coffins into my people, that's fine. But what about the butchering our people in the street when they toppled Gaza? A coup against a legitimate elected government called the Abbas government. In addition, the gentleman can also say what he wants. I am the Secretary General of the Jordanian Coalition of Opposition. We represent 6.3 million Palestinians, much more than the Palestinians you guys represent here.
That's how the King of Jordan came into this.
What?
Because it's an opposition thing.
Of course. The King of Jordan, because it's a part of the game against the Palestinian people, so were his ancestors since this whole thing began. That being said, I am authoritatively saying we recognize Hamas as a terrorist organization. We don't appease Israel. We don't care what Israel thinks. We don't approve of everything Israel does. At the same time, Hamas is a terrorist organization. And we outreach to President Abbas, all those who matter, all those who have the power and the decency, to do everything possible to topple and eradicate and exterminate Hamas from Gaza through the help of the Egyptians, the Saudis, even the Israelis if necessary, and the United Arab Emirates. Hamas is a terrorist organization. The only reason, if Hamas survives this time, And if my people keep getting butchered this time, we're going downhill. I want to see Palestinian Authority back in Gaza tomorrow. And this could only happen through the Egyptians.
We all do. That we want the legitimacy to go back to Gaza.
And why are you so crazy about
Now,
the King of Jordan, by the way? Sorry, go ahead.
No,
why are you so offended by him?
Honestly, no, I'm not. I really have nothing.
The guy
but
has orchestrated it.
I don't see that the King of Jordan is part of this and should not be brought up when we're talking about the Palestinian children's blood. That one that you were so emotional talking about him. Don't employ that to settle score with Jordan.
I'm
Please,
not
thank
settling
you.
score with Jordan.
Or scoring points, whatever.
I'm not scoring points.
Us as Palestinians, we want nothing to do with Jordan or anybody else.
And here's an Israeli responsibility.
Live and let live.
Here's an Israeli live and let live, not with the King of Jordan, not with people like him.
For us, we're very comfortable
No,
with
I
him.
represent 6.3 million Palestinians.
I don't know what you're talking. You don't represent. What?
Listen to me. The
I let
King
you
of
say
Jordan,
that joke
the
once. I
King
won't let you
of
say it
Jordan,
again.
The King of
I don't know if you represent your
the
family
King of
even.
Jordan. You say what you
don't
want.
say six
The
blah,
King
blah, blah,
of Jordan.
Palestinians.
The King of Jordan. If he's Israel friend as he claims, which is he's not, by the way, he's neither a friend of us or the Israelis, he can push his Muslim Brotherhood tomorrow to tell Khalid Mish'al to stop the fighting. This continues only because Qatar with their money, Qatari with their monies, Jordanians with their intelligence and lobbying in Washington, and also Syrians and Iranians, they want to play poker with Israel with my people's blood. The gentleman, I agree with most of what he said today, by the way. Most of it. Okay? Only I'm saying we need to call a spade a spade. We need to make sure that I want Abbas driving his limousine tomorrow into Gaza with not a single Hamas terrorist in there. That's what I'm seeking.
Do you think that it will happen?
This will happen, but Hamas will be there. Hamas is part of the Palestinian people, will always be. It's my interest as Fatah member to have political, to defeat them politically, but we will not be involved in any bloodshed against our people. This has been our policy.
You know
This
that you might find yourself losing your own lives like they did in 2006.
Yeah, it happened. It happened. I'm not saying, and Hamas did a criminal thing by conducting the military coup, and they killed people that Israel has failed to kill in so many assassination attempts.
So how come you're still willing to defend them? How come?
Because there is something basic. We differ. The war is not against Hamas. The war is against the Palestinian people. I refuse to fall into that Israeli PR move that it's against Hamas. Tell me, who in Hamas got killed in this?
Let me go. Let me take this.
But I can give you families that were wiped out.
You know,
they're all in Qatar. They won't get killed.
Let me take this.
Yeah.
You know, in Arabic, we R3 know Arabic. In Arabic, we call it khabisa blaban. Okay?
Indeed.
Too many hands are in this soup. Okay? Yeah. He's saying Jordan, Qatar, United States, Syria, Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, United Emirates. Maybe it's about time that the Palestinians would start caring about themselves and not waiting for the help of Saudi Arabia, of Qatar, of Jordan, of Egypt, of Syria.
Their role is supportive. With disregard to my position on Qatar's role, which I disapprove of. But everybody else is supporting. So Saudis are supporting, Jordanians are supporting, the Egyptians are supporting, the Emiratis are supporting. It's a supporting role. We cannot have this battle on our own. But at the same time, we kept our national decision independent all along.
Yeah, you cannot do this battle on your own. But you know that when you have so many hands in this, let's say, khabisa blaban, like we said, okay, you know that there are a lot of political strategies and a lot of political interests and a lot of money pulling out from the Gaza Strip, all this money that the Palestinian Authority, and let me not even start talking about corruption in the West Bank or in the Gaza Strip,
we can talk
okay?
about that.
Because
with numbers, not impressions.
Because money is coming in, but not to the people, not to the Palestinian people.
Excuse me, but we have to be clear here.
How do you know?
We have to be
How
clear.
much money
We cannot afford to undermine the Palestinian Authority at this time. We cannot.
Of course not.
We cannot
Of
afford
course not.
to start talking corruption against Abu Mazen now. We have had, as a Palestinian, as Israelis, we have had a lot of people dead. For God's sake, we don't want an intifada, and let Abu Mazen do his job. We'll go punish him and give him a hard time and talk about him, and he will come and defend later. Now we need to support Abu Mazen. It's in our mutual interest with the Israelis. On the other hand, I feel for this gentleman. I feel for Fatah for one thing. If they call a spade, if they openly say Qatar, blah, 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 and doing this, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. People are going to call them traitors. They are calling Hamas bad. They cannot do that. It's impossible. It's suicide.
Bad mouth in Qatar isn't seriously. Nobody would.
No, bad mouth in Hamas.
No, we do.
No, can you call Hamas a traitor? Can you call Hamas someone who's shedding the blood of my people? So Khalid Mish'al has a net wealth of $2.6 billion in Qatar, and investments in Jordan, and investment in Egypt. No, it's a fact. It was in the New York something yesterday. So
I knew he was rich, but not that much.
No, he is. I've seen his house in Qatar, so I know how, and I've seen the limousines outside. But to make a long story short, we need to phase out the intruders who are poking their nose into this. And here I might say something which very few people might agree to. With Qatar giving money to Hamas to get our people killed and provoke Israel, with Jordan giving intelligence and 5-star treatment to Hania's children who are studying in Jordan, and Khalid Mish'al has a Jordanian passport, VIP, blah, blah, blah. All of this, so can Jordan, Qatar, and others be happy they're trading with our people's blood. You know which, the only country out of these that treats us as human beings? Ironically, it's Israel.
Israel
does...
Awesome. How did you reach this really smart conclusion?
Israel does very stupid things in Gaza.
They are crimes. They're not stupid. They're crimes.
Stupid crimes in Gaza. On the other hand, Israel is the only sane partner if we want to sit with them and say, well, let's make peace, let's work something. They're the only partner that actually labels a Palestinian, even a terrorist, as a human.
No, they don't.
For example,
Gaza has been under siege since '88. Gaza has been going through wars and bombings every couple of years. What humans are you talking about? Our land has been eaten up by settlements. Our people are in prison for no reason. We have more than 200 administrative detentions. We have so many crimes committed by. And you say they treat us like humans. They cannot understand that we are humans because they are fascist, racist society. And please,
listen, I'm not here to defend Israel.
We have to go for a break. They will continue fighting, but they will continue fighting also in the Arabic studio. Don't go anywhere. 2 minutes and I'll be back.